as the train whistle pierces the crisp winter air. You lean against the window of the Hogwarts Express, your breath fogging the glass. The platform at King's Cross Station, hidden behind the magical barrier of Platform 934, fades into memory as the scarlet steam engine chugs northward. It's the holiday season, and you're one of the few students staying at Hogwarts for the winter break. The prospect of spending Christmas in the enchanted castle fills you with a mix of excitement and curiosity. Outside, the countryside rolls by in a blur of snow-dusted fields and skeletal trees, their branches glistening under a pale, wintry sun. The train carriage, warmed by a faint, magical glow, hums with the chatter of the handful of students who've chosen to stay behind, their voices mingling with the rhythmic clatter of the wheels. You adjust your scarf, the colors of your house, whether Gryffindor red, Hufflepuff yellow, Ravenclaw blue, or Slytherin green, standing out against the plain black robes you've yet to change out of. Your trunk, stowed above, rattles slightly as the train sways. Inside it are your school books, a few holiday gifts wrapped in charmed paper that shimmers faintly, and a thick woolen cloak for the chilly Hogwarts grounds. Across from you, a second-year Hufflepuff named Eliza nibbles on a chocolate frog, giggling as it tries to leap from her hands. "First time staying for the holidays?" she asks, her eyes bright with the same anticipation you feel. You nod, admitting it's your first holiday away from home. Eliza grins, launching into a story about last year's Christmas at Hogwarts, where the great hall's ceiling snowed enchanted flakes that never melted. Her enthusiasm is infectious, and soon you're swapping guesses about what surprises await this year. The train slows as it climbs a hill, and you catch a glimpse of distant mountains, their peaks cloaked in mist. The journey feels both timeless and urgent, as if the train itself knows the magic awaiting you at your destination. Hours pass, marked by the clink of the trolley witch's cart and the scent of warm pumpkin pasties. You buy a few, sharing them with Eliza and a quiet Ravenclaw boy who's buried in a book about magical beasts. The sky outside darkens, stars prickling through the twilight. Finally, the train begins to slow, and a voice, clear and magically amplified, announces, "Hogsmeade Station. All students, prepare to disembark." Your heart leaps. You pull on your cloak, grab your trunk, and join the small group of students shuffling toward the carriage doors. Stepping onto the platform, you're hit by a blast of cold air that carries the sharp scent of pine and snow. Hogsmeade Station is smaller than you'd imagined, its wooden sign creaking in the wind, illuminated by flickering lanterns that float without support. The village of Hogsmeade twinkles in the distance, its shop windows glowing warmly, but your eyes are drawn to the path leading toward Hogwarts. A familiar figure looms ahead, Rubeus Hagrid, his massive silhouette unmistakable even in the dim light. His beard is dusted with snow, and his moleskin coat looks as weathered as ever. "Rye, you lot," Hagrid's voice booms, warm and welcoming. "Welcome back to Hogwarts. Got a special holiday ahead, so stick close and follow me." He waves a lantern the size of a bucket, its light casting long shadows across the snowy path. You fall into step with the others, your boots crunching in the fresh snow. Eliza whispers excitedly about Hagrid's knack for sneaking extra treacle tarts from the kitchens, and you smile, already feeling the castle's magic pulling you closer. The path to Hogwarts winds through a copse of evergreens, their branches heavy with snow that glitters under the starlight. Occasionally, a faint rustle in the trees makes you glance sideways, half expecting a magical creature to dart past. Hagrid hums a tune, something low and cheerful, as he leads the way. The group is small, maybe a dozen students total, a mix of years and houses, all bundled against the cold. You notice a Slytherin girl with a sharp jawline and a green scarf, her eyes scanning the group as if sizing everyone up. She catches your gaze and offers a curt nod before looking away. You wonder if you'll cross paths in the castle. As the path curves upward, Hogwarts comes into view, and your breath catches. The castle looms against the night sky, its towers piercing the clouds, their tips dusted with snow. Windows glow with golden light, spilling warmth into the darkness, and the great oak doors stand open, flanked by massive wreaths charmed to shimmer with tiny, star-like sparks. The sight is breathtaking, like stepping into a storybook. Even the older students pause, their chatter quieting as they take in the castle's grandeur. It's not just a school. It's a living, breathing place, pulsing with magic that feels stronger in the holiday season. Hagrid leads you across the stone bridge, the frozen lake below, reflecting the castle's lights like a mirror. You pass the gates, where stone gargoyles stand sentinel, their eyes glinting as if acknowledging your arrival. Inside, the entrance hall is a marvel. The stone walls are draped with garlands of holly and ivy, charmed to glow faintly green. Floating candles hover above, their flames steady despite the draft. A massive Christmas tree, easily 20 feet tall, dominates one corner, its branches laden with ornaments that shift and sparkle. Tiny broomsticks, miniature owls, and orbs that pulse with soft light. Professor McGonagall waits at the foot of the grand staircase, her emerald robes pristine, and her expression stern, but not unkind. "Welcome, students," she says, her voice carrying the authority of someone who's seen countless holidays at Hogwarts. Those staying for the Christmas break will find their dormitories prepared. The house elves have outdone themselves, as usual, and I expect you to treat their efforts with respect. Her eyes linger on a Gryffindor boy who's already unwrapping a sweet, and he quickly stuffs it back into his pocket. McGonagall gestures toward the Great Hall. "A welcoming feast will begin shortly. Leave your trunks here. They'll be taken to your dormitories. I trust you'll conduct yourselves appropriately during your stay." With a sharp nod, she turns, her robes swishing as she leads the way. You glance at Eliza, who's practically bouncing with excitement, and follow the group into the Great Hall. The hall is a vision of holiday splendor. 4 long house tables are set with silver platters, and the enchanted ceiling mirrors the night sky, with gentle snowflakes drifting down but never reaching the tables. Smaller Christmas trees line the walls, each decorated in the colors of a different house. You spot your house table and head toward it, your steps echoing on the stone floor. The air smells of roasted chestnuts, cinnamon, and something sweet, perhaps the promise of pudding to come. As you sit, you notice the professors at the high table, their faces softened by the holiday spirit. Dumbledore's eyes twinkle behind his half-moon spectacles, and he raises a goblet in a silent toast to the students. The hall feels intimate with so few people, yet the magic is undiminished. You turn to Eliza, who's already pointing out a charmed napkin folding itself into a swan. "This is just the start," she whispers. "Wait till you see what Hogwarts does for Christmas. The feast hasn't even begun, but you already feel the castle's warmth wrapping around you, a promise of magic and wonder for the days ahead." You settle into your seat, ready for whatever enchantments the holiday at Hogwarts will bring. You step into the great hall, the air thick with the scent of roasted meats, warm spices, and something sweet that lingers like a promise. The hall is a spectacle, transformed for the holiday season into a vision of enchantment that makes your heart skip. The enchanted ceiling above swirls with a gentle snowstorm, flakes drifting down but dissolving before they touch the tables. leaving the air cool and crisp. 4 long house tables stretch across the room, their surfaces gleaming under the light of thousands of floating candles, their flames flickering like tiny stars. Each table is adorned with silver platters, goblets that shimmer with a faint magical sheen, and napkins folding themselves into intricate shapes, swans, stars, and miniature reindeer that prance briefly before settling. The holiday spirit is palpable, and the small group of students, perhaps a dozen or so, spreads out across the tables, their voices hushed with awe. You find a seat at your house table. The familiar colors of your house banner overhead. The Gryffindor table is draped with scarlet and gold runners. Hufflepuff with yellow and black. Ravenclaw with blue and bronze. And Slytherin with green and silver. Each table has its own Christmas tree at one end, charmed to reflect its house's personality. The Gryffindor tree boasts tiny, lion-shaped ornaments that roar softly, while the Slytherin tree glitters with silver serpents that coil and uncoil around the branches. You notice Eliza, the Hufflepuff second year you met on the train, waving from her table, her face lit up as she points to a platter of steaming rolls that float slightly above the table, waiting to be grabbed. The high table at the front, where the professors sit, is no less festive. A massive wreath of holly and ivy, studded with glowing orbs, hangs behind Dumbledore, who's already in his seat, his silver beard catching the candlelight. Professor McGonagall sits to his left, her posture as rigid as ever, though her eyes soften as she surveys the students. Professor Flitwick, barely visible over a towering centerpiece of enchanted snowflakes, chats animatedly with Professor Sprout, whose hat is adorned with a sprig of mistletoe that hovers just above her head. Hagrid, squeezed into a chair at the end, raises a goblet the size of a small cauldron, his grin wide enough to light the room. Dumbledore rises, his robes shimmering with embroidered stars that seem to twinkle. The hall falls silent, the students' murmurs fading as his presence commands attention. Welcome, my dear friends, to another holiday season at Hogwarts, he begins, his voice warm and resonant. Though our numbers are small, the magic of this castle burns as brightly as ever. Let us celebrate the warmth of friendship, the joy of discovery, and the wonder of the season. To the feast. He raises his goblet, and the students echo the gesture, their voices a mix of cheers and laughter. The platters before you shimmer, and food appears, as if conjured from thin air. The feast is a marvel. Golden roast turkeys, their skin crisp and gleaming, sit alongside platters of honey-glazed ham and herb-crusted beef. Bowls overflow with mashed potatoes, creamy and flecked with chives, and roasted vegetables, carrots, parsnips, and Brussels sprouts glisten with a magical glaze that makes them almost too beautiful to eat. Gravy boats sail down the table, pouring themselves into waiting plates, while cranberry sauce sparkles like rubies in crystal bowls. You reach for a roll, still warm and impossibly soft, and it hovers briefly before settling into your hand. Across the table, a Slytherin boy named Marcus, the one you noticed on the path, smirks as he charms his fork to carve his turkey in perfect slices, showing off to a nearby Ravenclaw. Desserts appear as the main course fades, and your eyes widen at the spread. Flaming Christmas puddings, their blue flames dancing harmlessly, release a scent of brandy and spices as you scoop a portion onto your plate. Mince pies, dusted with powdered sugar that sparkles like snow, stack themselves into neat pyramids. A chocolate Yule log, its frosting sculpted to resemble bark, sits beside a tray of treacle tarts that Hagrid eyes with obvious delight. You try a bit of everything, the flavors bursting with a richness that feels enchanted, as if the house elves have woven spells into every bite. Eliza slides over from the Hufflepuff table, her plate piled high with desserts. "You have to try the peppermint toffee," she says, pushing a glittering piece toward you. It's sweet and sharp, melting on your tongue with a cool tingle that makes you laugh. She tells you about last year's feast, when the puddings sang carols before being eaten, and you glance at your own pudding, half expecting it to hum. The hall buzzes with chatter now, students swapping stories of their train journeys or guesses about what holiday surprises Hogwarts has in store. You overhear a Ravenclaw girl speculating about a rumored Yule Ball, her voice hushed with excitement. The professors join the festive mood, their usual formality softened. Flitwick waves his wand, sending a shower of golden sparks that form tiny doves, which swoop over the tables before dissolving into glitter. Sprout claps, her mistletoe bobbing, while McGonagall's lips twitch in what might be a smile. Dumbledore leans forward, engaging Hagrid in a conversation that makes the gamekeeper laugh so loudly the candles flicker. You feel a warmth that has little to do with the food or the firelight. It's the sense of being part of something ancient and magical, a tradition that binds everyone in the room. As the feast winds down, the tables clear themselves, plates vanishing with a soft pop. Dumbledore rises again, his eyes twinkling. "A final toast," he says, lifting his goblet. "To Hogwarts, to magic, and to the memories we'll create this holiday." You raise your goblet, filled with sparkling pumpkin juice, and drink deeply, the sweet liquid warming you from within. The students cheer, and the hall echoes with the sound, amplified by the stone walls and the enchanted ceiling. You linger at the table, reluctant to leave the warmth of the hall. Eliza nudges you, pointing to a small group of students gathering near the Gryffindor tree, where the lion ornaments are now playfully batting at each other. Marcus, the Slytherin, joins them, his earlier reserve gone as he laughs at a charmed bauble that mimics his voice. You feel a pull to join, to share in the camaraderie that the holiday seems to amplify. The great hall, with its glowing candles, festive trees, and lingering magic, feels like the heart of Hogwarts, and you're grateful to be here, surrounded by its wonders. As McGonagall stands to dismiss everyone to their dormitories, you take one last look at the hall, committing the scene to memory. The holiday at Hogwarts has only just begun, and already it feels like a dream you never want to wake from. After the welcoming feast, you step out of the great hall, your stomach full and your mind buzzing with the warmth of the evening. The castle feels alive, its stone walls humming with a quiet magic that seems amplified by the holiday season. You decide to explore, eager to see how Hogwarts has transformed for the holidays. The entrance hall greets you first, its vast space aglow with enchantment. Massive wreaths of holly and ivy, each the size of a cartwheel, hang on the walls, their leaves shimmering with tiny golden sparks that flicker like fireflies. Floating candles, hundreds of them, drift lazily above, their flames casting a soft, amber light that dances across the polished stone floor. A towering Christmas tree dominates one corner, its branches heavy with ornaments that shift and glimmer. Tiny broomsticks that swoop in slow circles, miniature owls that hoot softly, and glass orbs pulsing with colors that seem to breathe. You pause to admire the tree, noticing how its decorations reflect the four houses. Gryffindor's scarlet and gold baubles glow fiercely. Ravenclaw's blue and bronze ones emit a faint hum. Hufflepuff's yellow and black ornaments seem to radiate warmth, and Slytherin's green and silver serpents slither silently among the branches. Each ornament feels alive, charmed to embody the spirit of its house. You reach out, half expecting the tree to respond, and a nearby bauble, a tiny lion, winks at you before resuming its slow spin. The air smells of pine and something sweeter, perhaps the lingering scent of enchanted snow from the great hall's ceiling. Moving toward the grand staircase, you notice the banisters wrapped in garlands of evergreen, woven with ribbons that change color as you pass. Red, blue, yellow, green, cycling through the house hues. The stairs themselves shift gently, as they always do. But tonight, their movements feel almost playful, as if the castle is showing off for the holidays. You climb, following a group of chattering third years who point out a portrait of a medieval wizard dressed as Father Christmas, his beard sparkling with frost. He waves merrily, offering you a painted candy cane that, sadly, you can't take. The portraits lining the walls are in festive spirits, their occupants exchanging holiday greetings or singing carols in reedy voices. One portrait, a stern-looking witch in a pointed hat, breaks into a surprisingly cheerful rendition of a wizarding carol about a runaway sleigh, and you can't help but smile. The corridors are a maze of holiday magic. Every suit of armor stands polished and proud, each one adorned with a festive touch, a sprig of mistletoe on a helmet, a scarlet ribbon tied around a gauntlet, or a tiny wreath hung on a shield. Some armors creak, as if trying to salute you, their movements sluggish, but unmistakably charmed. You pass a window overlooking the courtyard, where a fountain has been transformed into a sparkling ice sculpture of a phoenix. Its wings spread wide, glowing faintly as if lit from within. Snow falls outside, but it's enchanted, swirling in patterns that form fleeting shapes, stars, snowflakes, even a miniature Hogwarts crest. Before settling on the ground, you wander toward the charms corridor, where Professor Flitwick's influence is clear. The walls are lined with strings of tiny, glowing orbs, each floating without visible support, casting a rainbow of colors across the stone. You touch one, and it bobs gently, emitting a soft chime like a distant bell. The sound spreads, and soon the entire corridor hums with a melody that feels like Christmas distilled into music. A Ravenclaw girl, the one you overheard at the feast, pauses beside you, her eyes wide. Flitwick outdid himself this year, she says, her voice soft with awe. You nod, feeling the same wonder as you watch the orbs shift from gold to silver to emerald green. The Transfiguration Courtyard is your next stop, and it's a marvel. The open space is blanketed in snow, but it's warm underfoot, as if the ground itself has been charmed to keep the cold at bay. At the center stands a massive tree, different from the one in the entrance hall, its branches draped with icicles that don't melt. Each icicle reflects the moonlight, creating a kaleidoscope of prismatic light that dances across the courtyard. You spot a group of Hufflepuffs tossing snowballs that burst into showers of harmless sparks upon impact, their laughter echoing off the stone walls. You join them briefly, scooping up a handful of snow that feels oddly light, almost like holding a cloud. When you throw it, the snowball transforms midair into a puff of glittering dust, and the Hufflepuffs cheer. The astronomy tower beckons next, its spiral staircase lined with star-shaped lanterns that pulse faintly, guiding you upward. At the top, the open platform offers a breathtaking view of the castle grounds. The black lake frozen and glimmering under the stars. The tower itself is decorated sparingly, but elegantly. A single garland of silver thread wraps the railing, and a small tree sits in one corner, its ornaments shaped like constellations that shift to mimic the night sky. You linger, the cold air sharp but invigorating, and imagine returning here later for stargazing. As the outline promised, descending, you pass the library, its heavy oak doors framed with ivy that seems to grow before your eyes, curling into intricate patterns. Peeking inside, you see garlands of parchment stars hanging from the ceiling, each glowing with a soft luminescence that illuminates the bookshelves without disturbing the quiet. Madame Pince, usually stern, hums a tune as she adjusts a wreath on her desk, and you slip away before she notices you. Your final stop is the corridor leading to your common room. The entrance is festooned with a velvet ribbon, and all the portraits is in high spirits, sipping from a goblet of mulled wine and demanding a holiday-themed gossips. Every corner of Hogwarts feels alive with holiday magic, from the shifting garlands to the charmed snow that never chills. The castle isn't just decorated, it's enchanted, a living testament to the season's joy. You feel a pang of gratitude for staying, knowing each day will reveal more wonders. The air carries the scent of pine, wood smoke, and a faint sweetness, perhaps from enchanted treats left out for late-night wanderers. The space is quiet tonight, with only a handful of students staying for the holidays. But the emptiness only makes the room feel cozier, like a secret shared among a few. The common room is circular, its stone walls softened by tapestries that shimmer with subtle enchantments. During the holidays, these tapestries have been transformed, woven with threads that depict winter scenes, snow-covered forests, frozen lakes, and distant mountains under starry skies. The threads seem to move, the snow falling gently within the fabric, creating an illusion of a world beyond the walls. You pause to watch a tapestry near the entrance, where a tiny stag made of silver thread bounds across a field, leaving faint hoofprints that fade and reappear. The magic is subtle, but mesmerizing, a testament to the castle's ability to make even the smallest details extraordinary. At the heart of the room, a massive fireplace dominates one wall, its hearth crackling with a fire that burns with an unnatural warmth, never fading or smoking. The flames shift in color, gold, amber, and occasionally a soft green or blue, as if charmed to reflect the holiday spirit. Above the mantel, a garland of evergreen branches is draped, studded with tiny orbs of light that pulse like fireflies. You notice the garland seems to grow slightly, its needles lengthening and retracting as if breathing, a quiet enchantment that makes the room feel alive. A few logs are stacked nearby, but they never seem to dwindle, no matter how fiercely the fire burns. Scattered around the fireplace are overstuffed armchairs and sofas, their cushions worn but inviting, arranged in a loose semicircle that encourages conversation. You sink into one, the fabric soft under your fingers, and notice that the cushions seem to adjust to your shape, offering just the right amount of support. A small table beside you holds a tray of treats, peppermint toffees, gingerbread shaped like tiny broomsticks, and a pitcher of hot cocoa that refills itself when you pour a mug. The cocoa is rich, steaming, and laced with a hint of cinnamon, warming you from the inside as you sip. You glance at the tray, wondering if the house elves are watching from some hidden corner, ensuring no one goes hungry during the holidays. The windows, set high in the walls, offer glimpses of the snow-covered grounds outside, but the glass is charmed to keep the cold at bay. Instead of frost, the panes are etched with delicate patterns that shift like lace, forming snowflakes, stars, and occasionally a silhouette of a magical creature, a unicorn, a phoenix, or a dragon. The patterns catch the firelight, casting intricate shadows across the room that dance with the flames. You watch one shadow, a tiny owl, flutter across the ceiling before dissolving, and it feels like the room is winking at you, sharing a private joke. Bookshelves line one wall, their shelves groaning under the weight of ancient tomes and newer novels, some left behind by students over the years. During the holidays, the shelves are decorated with strings of tiny, glowing beads that weave themselves around the books, illuminating titles in gold and silver script. You spot a book titled Winter Charms for Festive Nights and pull it down, its pages opening to a chapter on creating enchanted snowflakes that sing. The idea tempts you to try it later, perhaps with a friend, and you set the book on a nearby table for tomorrow's reading. A Christmas tree stands in one corner, smaller than the ones in the great hall, but no less enchanting. Its branches are adorned with ornaments that shift and glow, some hovering slightly above the needles as if caught in an invisible breeze. The ornaments are eclectic. Tiny glass stars, miniature quills that scribble invisible notes, and baubles that hum softly when you lean close. At the top, a single star glows with a steady light, casting a warm halo over the room. You notice a pile of wrapped gifts beneath the tree, their paper shimmering with charms that make the patterns dance. Snowflakes, reindeer, even tiny broomsticks that seem to fly across the wrapping. You wonder if the gifts are from the house elves, or perhaps a tradition among the students staying for the holidays. A few other students lounge in the room, their voices low and relaxed. Eliza, the second year you met in the train, is curled up in an armchair, sketching a charmed snowflake that floats above her parchment, its edges sparkling. Another student, older and reading by the fire, glances up and offers a nod, their book glowing faintly with enchanted text. The small group feels like a family, bound by the shared decision to stay at Hogwarts, and the common room amplifies that sense of camaraderie. You imagine late-night talks here, swapping stories, or planning holiday adventures in the castle. A rug stretches across the floor, its intricate patterns shifting to reflect the season. Snowflakes one moment, holly leaves the next. It's soft underfoot, and you notice it seems to warm your toes, even through your shoes, as if the room itself is tending to your comfort. Near the rug, a small table holds a chess set, its pieces carved to resemble magical creatures, dragons, hippogriffs, and thestrals that move on their own when no one's playing. You watch a knight, shaped like a centaur, gallop across the board, knocking over a pawn with a dramatic flourish. As the night deepens, the common room grows quieter. The fires crackle the loudest sound. You linger, reluctant to head to the dormitories, savoring the ambience. The room feels like a cocoon, shielding you from the cold outside while wrapping you in the castle's magic. Every detail, the shifting tapestries, the charmed ornaments, the self-replenishing cocoa, speaks to the care poured into making the holidays special. You pull a blanket from a nearby chair, its fabric warm and faintly glowing, and settle deeper into your seat, already anticipating the days ahead in this enchanted space. The morning after the welcoming feast, you wake to a world transformed. Sunlight streams through the dormitory window, filtered through a layer of enchanted frost that traces delicate patterns on the glass. You dress quickly, pulling on a thick cloak and scarf, eager to explore the Hogwarts grounds in their winter glory. The common room is quiet, with only a few students stirring, and you nod to Eliza, the second year you met on the train, who's already bundled up and clutching a steaming mug of cocoa. She grins, clearly as excited as you are, and suggests exploring together. You agree, and the two of you step out of the common room, passing through the portrait and into the castle's corridors, which hum with holiday magic. The entrance hall is still aglow with wreaths and floating candles, but your focus is on the great oak doors, slightly ajar, letting in a crisp breeze. You push them open, and the cold hits you, sharp but invigorating, carrying the scent of snow and pine. The grounds stretch out before you, a vast expanse of white, broken by the dark shapes of trees and the distant shimmer of the black lake. The snow is pristine, untouched, except for a few tracks, perhaps from Hagrid or a wandering creature. The castle looms behind you, its towers dusted with snow, their windows glowing warmly against the pale sky. Eliza tugs at your sleeve, pointing toward a path that winds toward the lake, and you set off, your boots crunching in the snow. The path is lined with evergreens, their branches heavy with snow that sparkles as if dusted with starlight. You notice the snow doesn't stick to your cloak or melt under your boots, a subtle charm that keeps you warm and dry. Eliza giggles as she scoops up a handful, tossing it into the air, where it transforms into a flurry of tiny, glowing motes before drifting back down. The grounds feel alive, every tree and stone imbued with the castle's magic. You pass a small garden, usually vibrant with flowers, now blanketed in snow, but dotted with enchanted roses that bloom despite the cold, their petals red and gumstilled against the white. The Black Lake is your first destination, its surface frozen into a glassy expanse that reflects the sky. You step cautiously onto the ice, testing its strength, and find it solid, charmed to hold far more weight than natural ice ever could. Eliza skates across it in her boots, sliding with a laugh, and you join her. Your movements clumsy but joyful. The lake's edge is fringed with reeds, now encased in ice that glints like crystal. In the distance, you spot ripples beneath the ice, suggesting the giant squid or some other creature stirring below. You imagine it, vast and curious, watching you through the frozen surface, and the thought sends a thrill down your spine. From the lake, you veer toward the edge of the Forbidden Forest, its dark trees looming like sentinels. You know better than to venture too far. Stories of centaurs and acromantulas linger in your mind. But the forest's border is inviting in the daylight, its trees draped with snow that glows faintly, as if charmed. Eliza points out a set of tracks, small and clawed, winding into the underbrush. You speculate they belong to a bow-truckle, or perhaps a niffler, escaped from Hagrid's care. The forest hums with a quiet energy, and you catch glimpses of movement, flashes of white fur, perhaps a unicorn, or the flicker of a will-o'-the-wisp. You linger at the edge, the air heavy with the scent of pine and mystery, before turning back toward safer ground. Hagrid's hut is your next stop, its chimney puffing cheerful clouds of smoke. The hut is half buried in snow, but a path has been cleared to the door, likely by Hagrid's massive hands. Pumpkins, usually scattered around his garden, are now carved into lanterns, their jagged faces glowing with an inner light that pulses faintly. You knock, and Hagrid's booming voice calls you inside. The hut is warm, cluttered with wooden furniture and jars of oddities. A small Christmas tree sits on a table, decorated with bones and feathers, unmistakably Hagrid's style. He offers you and Eliza steaming mugs of tea, brewed with herbs that taste of winter mint, and regales you with tales of his holiday preparations, feeding baby dragons extra coal to keep them warm, or coaxing thestrals with enchanted apples. You listen, enthralled, as Fang, his massive boarhound, snores by the fire. Leaving Hagrid's, you wander toward the Quidditch pitch. It stands empty, but dusted with snow. The goalposts are wrapped in garlands that shimmer in the sunlight. And you imagine the pitch in summer, alive with players. For now, it's a quiet expanse, perfect for a spontaneous snowball fight. Eliza starts it, lobbing a snowball that bursts into sparks when it hits your cloak. You retaliate, and soon you're both laughing, dodging charmed snowballs that veer like bludgers. The snow feels light, almost weightless, and you suspect the house elves or professors have enchanted it to make the grounds more playful. As the sun climbs higher, you explore the greenhouses, their glass panes fogged with warmth. Inside, Professor Sprout has set up a display of winter plants, snowbell vines that chime softly when touched, and frost bloom ferns that glow silver in the dim light. The air is humid, scented with earth and sap, a contrast to the cold outside. You run your fingers over a fern, and it shivers, releasing a puff of glittering pollen that makes you sneeze. Eliza laughs, sketching the plants in a chawl notebook, her pencil charmed to never need sharpening. Your final stop is a small hill overlooking the castle, where you and Eliza flop into the snow, breathless from your adventures. The view is breathtaking. Hogwarts towers rise against the sky, their spires catching the sunlight, while the grounds spread out like a winter tapestry. You spot other students in the distance, some building snow figures that move on their own, others sledding on charmed boards. The grounds feel vast, yet intimate, a playground of magic that invites exploration. You lie back, the snow cushioning you like a blanket, and watch your breath form clouds in the air. Eliza points out a flock of owls soaring overhead, their wings dusted with snow, carrying letters or perhaps holiday gifts. The day has been a whirlwind of discovery, each corner of the grounds revealing new enchantments. You feel a deep connection to Hogwarts, its magic woven into the snow, the trees, and the very air. As you and Eliza head back toward the castle, the promise of more adventures lingers, and you know the holiday will only grow more magical. The morning sun filters through the castle's frost-etched windows as you make your way to the first of the holiday lessons, a special series of classes offered to students staying at Hogwarts over the break. The corridors are quiet, with only a handful of students drifting toward their respective classrooms, their footsteps echoing on the stone floors. Your timetable, delivered by a house elf the night before, lists a charms lesson with Professor Flitwick and a potions session with Professor Snape, both tailored to the holiday season. The idea of learning festive magic excites you, and you clutch your wand, and a small notebook, ready to absorb whatever spells or brews the professors have planned. Eliza, your friend from the train, catches up with you, her eyes bright with anticipation. She's heard rumors that holiday lessons are less formal, more like experiments in magic. And you both hurry toward the charms classroom, eager to find out. The charms classroom is on the 3rd floor, its door framed with twinkling lights that pulse in time with a faint, cheerful melody. Inside, the room is transformed. The usual desks are pushed to the walls, replaced by a circle of cushions on a rug woven with snowflake patterns. Floating lanterns hover above, their light shifting from gold to silver, casting a warm glow over the space. Professor Flitwick stands on a stack of books at the front, his wand waving as he directs a stream of tiny, glowing orbs into the air. They form a miniature constellation that twinkles like a starry night. The other students, a mix of years, no more than 10 in total, settle onto the cushions, their wands at the ready. You and Eliza find spots near the front, the rug soft and warm under you. Flitwick claps his hands, his voice high and enthusiastic. "Welcome to our holiday charms workshop," he says, his eyes twinkling behind his spectacles. "Today, we'll be learning to create festive lights, a charm that brings warmth and beauty to any space." He flicks his wand, and a burst of light erupts, forming a cascade of glowing snowflakes that drift down, dissolving before they touch the floor. The spell is called Lumos Festiva, he explains, and it's all about intent, channeling joy into light. He demonstrates the wand movement, a gentle swirl followed by a sharp flick, and the incantation spoken with a lilt that makes the air hum. You scribble notes, sketching the wand motion, your heart racing at the thought of casting something so beautiful. The lesson is hands-on, and Flitwick encourages experimentation. You raise your wand, focusing on the happiest memory you can muster, perhaps the welcoming feast or the snowball fight on the grounds. Lumos Festiva, you say, mimicking Flitwick's motion. A faint glow appears at your wand's tip, wobbling before coalescing into a single, shimmering orb that floats upward. It's not perfect, but it pulses with a soft blue light, and you grin as Eliza claps. Her attempt produces a cluster of tiny stars that spin in a dizzying spiral, earning a nod from Flitwick. He circles the room, offering pointers, his small frame darting between students with surprising speed. By the end of the lesson, the classroom is filled with floating lights, some shaped like snowflakes, others like tiny flame or bells, each reflecting the caster's personality. Your orb has stabilized, now glowing a warm gold, and you feel a surge of pride as Flitwick praises its clarity. After a quick break, you head to the dungeons for potions, the air growing cooler and damper as you descend. The potions classroom is stark compared to Charms, its stone walls lit by flickering torches. But holiday touches are evident. A cauldron at the front bubbles with a silvery liquid, its steam forming faint snowflake shapes that dissipate into the air. Small wreaths of holly hang above each workbench, their berries glowing faintly. Professor Snape sweeps in, his black robes billowing, his expression as severe as ever. The holiday, it seems, has done little to soften him. He announces the day's task: brewing a warming elixir, a potion that radiates heat without burning, perfect for winter nights. The small class, only 8 students, listens intently, wary of Snape's sharp tongue. Snape's instructions are precise, his voice low and commanding. You gather ingredients from the storeroom: frost root, sliced thin; ember leaf, crushed to a powder; and a single phoenix feather, to be added last. Your cauldron is already simmering over a low flame, and you follow Snape's steps carefully, aware of his eyes scanning the room. Eliza, at the next workbench, measures her frost root with a nervous glance at Snape, who looms nearby. You chop your root, its icy scent stinging your nose, and stir it into the cauldron, watching the liquid turn a pale blue. The ember leaf comes next, and as you sprinkle it in, the potion shifts to a warm amber, releasing a wave of heat that makes your cheeks flush. Snape pauses at your cauldron, his gaze narrowing. "Stir counterclockwise," he says, his voice clipped. You adjust quickly, and he moves on without further comment, which you take as a small victory. The phoenix feather is the trickiest part. Snape warns it must be added with a steady hand, or the potion could overheat. You hold your breath, dropping the feather into the cauldron, and the liquid flares briefly before settling into a steady, glowing gold. The warmth it emits is comforting, like a fire on a cold night, and you smile as Eliza's potion mirrors yours, her relief palpable. The lesson ends with Snape inspecting each cauldron. Most pass, though one student's potion smokes alarmingly, earning a scowl and a vanishing spell from Snape. He bottles a sample of yours, muttering about adequacy, and you feel a quiet thrill. The elixir is yours to keep, stored in a small vial that radiates warmth through your pocket. As you leave the dungeon, Eliza nudges you, whispering about using the potion to warm up during a late-night stargazing trip. You nod, already imagining the possibilities. The holiday lessons feel different from regular classes, less rigid, more creative, as if the professors are sharing a piece of Hogwarts festive magic. You head back to the common room, your notebook filled with new spells and recipes, your mind buzzing with ideas for practicing them. The castle's holiday spirit has seeped into the lessons, making each one a small celebration of magic and wonder. The winter sun hangs low over the Hogwarts grounds, casting long shadows across the snow-covered Quidditch pitch as you make your way down from the castle. It's a crisp morning, the air sharp with the scent of frost and pine, and you're bundled in your cloak, scarf wrapped snugly around your neck. The holiday season has quieted the usual bustle of the school, but the pitch beckons with the promise of off-season fun, a chance to enjoy Quidditch without the pressure of house rivalries or championship stakes. Eliza, your friend from the train, walks beside you, her eyes bright with excitement. She's carrying a battered broomstick, borrowed from the school's supply, and you've got your own, its handle polished from use. A small group of students, maybe a dozen, a mix of years and houses, has gathered at the pitch, their laughter carrying on the wind. The Quidditch pitch is a familiar sight, but the holiday season has transformed it into something magical. The towering stands, usually packed with cheering students, are empty, their wooden beams draped with garlands that shimmer with enchanted frost. The goalposts at either end are wrapped in ribbons that shift colors, cycling through reds, blues, yellows, and greens, as if refusing to favor any house. Snow blankets the field, but it's charmed to remain light and powdery, never sticking to your boots or weighing down your broom. In the center of the pitch, a makeshift pile of equipment, brooms, a few bludgers, and a quaffle, sits beside a charmed fire that burns without wood, its flames flickering in festive hues of gold and silver. A fifth-year student, tall and wiry with a confident grin, takes charge, announcing a friendly game with relaxed rules. No snitch today, they say, since it's too small to spot in the snow. But we'll play with the quaffle, and maybe a bludger for fun. The group splits into two loose teams, not divided by house, but by whoever feels like playing together. You and Eliza end up on the same side, joined by a quiet third year with a knack for dodging and a boisterous older student who claims to have once outflown a Cornish pixie. The other team includes Marcus, the Slytherin you noticed earlier, who grips his broom with a competitive glint in his eye, though his smirk suggests he's here for fun, not glory. You mount your broom, the familiar hum of magic thrumming through the handle as you kick off. The air rushes past, cold but exhilarating, as you rise above the pitch. The snow swirls around you, charmed to part like a curtain, ensuring clear visibility. The game begins with a toss of the quaffle, and you dive into the action, weaving between players. The pace is fast, but playful, with no keeper to guard the goals. So every throw is a chance to score. You catch the quaffle from Eliza, its leather warm despite the chill, and aim for a hoop. Your throw is slightly off, but the hoop glows briefly, charmed to nudge the quaffle through, and your team cheers. The holiday rules seem designed for laughter, not precision, and you're grateful for it. The bludger, released by the fifth year, adds a thrill to the game. It zips through the air, slower than in a real match, but still unpredictable. You swerve to avoid it, feeling the rush of air as it passes, and hear Eliza yelp as she ducks just in time. Marcus, on the other team, bats the bludger toward your side with a practiced swing, but it veers harmlessly into the snow, bursting into a shower of sparks that makes everyone laugh. The older student on your team scores next, lobbing the quaffle through a hoop with a dramatic spin, and you high-five Eliza midair, your brooms wobbling as you steady yourselves. After a few rounds, the game pauses, and someone suggests a break for a snowball fight. Quidditch style, the group lands, brooms hovering just above the snow, and you start scooping up handfuls of the enchanted powder. These snowballs, like the ones you threw with Eliza on the grounds, transform midair, some bursting into glitter, others trailing streams of colored light. You aim one at Marcus, who dodges with a grin and retaliates with a snowball that explodes into a cloud of silver mist. The fight spreads across the pitch, players zooming low on their brooms, lobbing snowballs that leave trails like miniature comets. You weave through the chaos, laughing as a snowball from Eliza hits your cloak, showering you with harmless sparks. The fifth year calls everyone back to the center, proposing a new game, a relay race around the pitch. The rules are simple: fly a lap, pass a charmed baton, a glowing stick that hums when held, and avoid dropping it. You line up, broom steady beneath you, and when the baton reaches you, it pulses with warmth, urging you forward. You lean into the wind, the snow parting around you, and complete your lap, passing the baton to Eliza, who takes off with surprising speed. The other team's players are fast, but the holiday spirit keeps things light. No one minds when the baton slips and has to be retrieved from a snowbank, glowing brightly to guide the way. As the sun begins to dip, casting a golden glow over the pitch, the group gathers around the charmed fire. Someone has conjured a tray of hot cider, the mugs steaming and refilling themselves. You sip yours, the sweet, tart flavor warming you as you listen to stories of past Quidditch matches and holiday pranks. Marcus shares a tale of sneaking onto the pitch last Christmas to fly under a full moon, his voice softening as he describes the castle aglow against the night sky. Eliza chimes in with a plan to charm snowballs to sing carols next time, and you all laugh, imagining the chaos. The pitch feels like a playground, its magic amplified by the holiday season. The relaxed games and shared laughter have forged a bond among the small group, a sense of camaraderie that transcends house divisions. As you head back to the castle, broom slung over your shoulder, the snow crunches underfoot, and the goalpost's ribbons glow faintly in the twilight. You glance back at the pitch, already anticipating the next chance to fly, to play, to lose yourself in the joy of Hogwarts winter magic. The afternoon sun casts a pale glow through the high windows of Hogwarts, and you decide it's the perfect time to visit the library, drawn by the promise of quiet and the chance to delve into magical holiday traditions. The castle's festive decorations, garlands, floating candles, and shimmering wreaths guide your path as you navigate the familiar corridors. Your boots echo softly on the stone floor, the sound muffled by the holiday hush that has settled over the school. With only a few students staying for the break, the library feels like a hidden treasure waiting to be explored, a place where the magic of the season might reveal itself in dusty tomes and ancient scrolls. You carry a small notebook and a quill, ready to jot down anything intriguing, and your wand is tucked into your pocket, just in case a spell is needed to coax a reluctant book from its shelf. The library's heavy oak doors are framed with ivy that curls and uncurls as if alive, its leaves sparkling with tiny flecks of silver. You push the doors open, and a wave of warmth greets you, tinged with the scent of old parchment leather bindings, and a faint trace of evergreen from a small Christmas tree in one corner. The library is vast, its towering shelves stretching toward a ceiling adorned with enchanted parchment stars that glow softly, casting a gentle light over the tables below. The stars shift slowly, forming constellations that seem to tell stories of their own. You pause, taking in the sight, feeling as if you've stepped into a cathedral of knowledge, its holiday decorations making it even more inviting. Madame Pince, the librarian, is at her desk, her usual stern demeanor softened slightly by the season. She's adjusting a wreath of holly on her desk, its berries glowing faintly, and she glances up as you enter, her eyes narrowing. You offer a polite nod, and she returns to her work, muttering about students who dog-ear pages. The library is nearly empty, save for a couple of older students bent over books at a far table, and Eliza, your friend from the train, who waves from a corner nook. She's surrounded by a stack of books, her quill scratching furiously, and you make your way over, curious about what she's found. The table Eliza has claimed is littered with volumes, their titles embossed in gold and silver. Winter Rites of the Wizarding World, Enchanted Feasts, A History, and Spells for a Merry Yule. She grins, pushing a book toward you, its cover worn but shimmering with a charm that makes the text glow. I'm researching holiday traditions, she says, her voice a whisper to avoid Pince's wrath. Did you know wizards used to charm snowmen to guard their homes? You settle beside her, intrigued, and open the book to a chapter on Yule spells. The pages are filled with descriptions of ancient rituals, fires that burn without fuel, lights that dance to music only the caster can hear, and potions that capture the essence of winter's joy. You decide to focus on holiday charms, hoping to find something to practice during the break. The book details a spell for creating a floating lantern, similar to the ones in the charms classroom, but infused with a festive glow that lasts for days. You copy the incantation, Lumen Perpetua, and the wand movement, a slow spiral followed by a tap. The spell requires a clear intent. The book warns, and you imagine casting it in the common room, impressing your friends with a lantern that pulses like a star. You flip through more pages, finding references to solstice celebrations where wizards gathered under charmed skies, their spells weaving stories in the stars. The idea captivates you, and you make a note to visit the astronomy tower later to see if the holiday sky holds similar magic. Eliza points out a section on magical holiday gifts, describing how wizards once crafted presents that carried enchantments, scarves that warmed without fire, books that read themselves aloud, or trinkets that hummed lullabies. You both speculate about trying to make something similar, perhaps for the gift exchange mentioned in the holiday schedule. The library's quiet amplifies your excitement, each discovery feeling like a secret shared between you and the ancient texts. You wander to a nearby shelf, drawn by a faint glow emanating from a row of books. One, titled Magical Traditions of the Winter Solstice, seems to call to you, its spine pulsing softly. You pull it down, careful not to disturb the shelf, and return to the table. The book is heavy, its pages yellowed but intact, and it opens to a chapter on enchanted snow. You learn that wizards could charm snow to hold memories, letting it replay moments like a pensieve when touched. The spell is complex, requiring a precise wand motion and a clear memory. But you jot it down, imagining enchanting snow for Eliza to relive the Quidditch game. The book also mentions holiday wards, spells cast to protect homes during winter feasts. And you wonder if Hogwarts' own protections are strengthened during the holidays. The library's ambience, its glowing stars, the soft rustle of pages, makes every detail feel vivid, as if the knowledge itself is enchanted. As you read, a soft chime sounds, and you glance up to see a parchment star detach from the ceiling, floating down to your table. It hovers, then unfolds into a note from Madame Pince, reminding you to handle the books gently. You smile, tucking the note into your pocket, and return to your research. Eliza has found a section on holiday potions, including one that creates a mist of sparkling lights, and she's sketching the recipe, her quill charmed to change colors with each stroke. You share your findings, and the two of you brainstorm ways to combine your discoveries. Perhaps a lantern spell paired with a potion mist for a dazzling effect. The library's magic seems to deepen as the afternoon fades, the light from the windows turning golden. You explore another shelf, finding a scroll tucked between books, its parchment brittle but glowing faintly. It describes a forgotten holiday ritual where wizards sang to awaken dormant magic in their homes. And you imagine the Hogwarts ghosts performing something similar. The thought sends you back to your notebook, scribbling ideas for questions to ask the castle's spectral residents later. As the library grows quieter, the other students pack up. But you and Eliza linger, reluctant to leave the haven of books and holiday enchantments. The shelves seem to hum with secrets. Each volume a doorway to the past. You feel a connection to the wizards who wrote these texts, their holiday traditions echoing through time. The library, with its glowing stars and whispered magic, has become a sanctuary, fueling your curiosity for the days ahead. The morning air is crisp as you gather with a small group of students in the entrance hall, preparing for a holiday trip to Hogsmeade. The castle's festive decorations, wreaths sparkling with enchanted lights and garlands that shimmer along the walls, set a cheerful mood. But the promise of exploring the wizarding village has you buzzing with excitement. You pull your cloak tighter, your scarf snug against the cold, and check your pocket for a few galleons saved for the occasion. Eliza, your friend from the train, bounces on her heels nearby, her eyes bright as she chatters about her favorite Hogsmeade shops. Professor McGonagall appears, her emerald robes pristine, and gives the group a stern reminder to behave and return by dusk. With a nod, she leads you out the oak doors, and you step into the snow-dusted grounds, the path to Hogsmeade glistening under a pale winter sun. The journey to the village is short, a winding path through snow-covered hills, the crunch of your boots mingling with the group's laughter. Thestral-drawn carriages, invisible to most, creak along for those who prefer not to walk. But you and Eliza choose to trek on foot, enjoying the crisp air and the sight of Hogwarts receding behind you. The path is lined with evergreens, their branches heavy with snow that occasionally falls in soft clumps, charmed to sparkle as it drifts. In the distance, Hogsmeade appears, its thatched roofs and crooked chimneys poking through a blanket of white, smoke curling from fireplaces. The village looks like a postcard, its windows glowing with warm light, inviting you closer. As you enter Hogsmeade, the main street unfolds, bustling despite the small number of visitors. Shop windows are adorned with holiday cheer, strings of fairy lights that twinkle without wires, wreaths that hum carols, and snowflakes that hover in midair, never melting. You pass Zonko's joke shop, its display bursting with enchanted baubles that explode into showers of glitter when tapped. Eliza tugs you toward the honeydukes, her favorite, and you follow, the sweet scent of chocolate and peppermint pulling you in. The shop is a riot of color, its shelves stacked with holiday treats, chocolate frogs wrapped in festive foil, sugar quills that write edible messages, and peppermint toads that croak softly before you eat them. You pick out a bag of fizzing whiz-bees, their sherbet buzz tingling on your tongue, and a box of enchanted candy canes that change flavor with every lick. Eliza grabs a handful of jelly slugs, claiming they're better in winter. And you both spend a few galleons, your bags crinkling with purchases. Next, you head to the Three Broomsticks, its sign creaking in the wind. The windows fogged with warmth. Inside, the pub is cozy, its wooden tables crowded with students and villagers sipping steaming drinks. A fire roars in the hearth, and garlands of holly loop across the ceiling, their berries glowing like tiny embers. Madame Rosmerta, the barkeep, bustles behind the counter, her smile wide as she pours butterbeer into frosted mugs. You and Eliza find a table near the fire, the warmth seeping into your bones as you order butterbeers, their rich, buttery foam leaving a mustache on Eliza's lip. She laughs, wiping it away, and you share stories of the castle's holiday magic, from the charmed snowballs to the glowing lanterns in the charms lesson. The butterbeer is sweet and warming, and you savor it slowly, watching villagers exchange holiday greetings, their cloaks dusted with snow. After warming up, you wander to Scrivenshaft's quill shop, its window displaying quills that write in glittering ink and parchment that folds itself into festive shapes. You browse the shelves, tempted by a quill that hums carols as it writes, but decide to save your coins for something else. Eliza buys a small notebook with pages that glow faintly, perfect for her sketches of holiday plants from the greenhouses. Outside, you pass a group of students tossing enchanted snowballs that burst into sparkles, and you join in briefly, laughing as one hits your cloak and showers you with silver light. The village square is the heart of Hogsmeade's holiday spirit, with a massive Christmas tree towering at its center, its branches heavy with ornaments that shift and glow. Tiny broomsticks zoom among the branches, and miniature owls hoot softly, their eyes glinting. A group of carolers, villagers mixed with Hogwarts students, sings nearby, their voices carrying a charm that makes the air shimmer. You and Eliza pause to listen, the melody weaving through the cold, and you feel a pang of joy at being part of this moment. The square is alive with activity, vendors selling roasted chestnuts that warm your hands, and a stall offering charmed trinkets, like snow globes that replay Hogsmeade scenes when shaken. Your final stop is Dervish and Banjas, a shop filled with magical odds and ends. The shelves are crowded with holiday gifts, sneakoscopes that glow festive colors, music boxes that play wizarding carols, and tiny models of Hogwarts that shimmer with enchanted snow. You pick out a small charm for the upcoming gift exchange, a pendant that glows when held, thinking it might suit a friend back at the castle. Eliza chooses a set of enchanted marbles that roll in festive patterns, and you both leave the shop, your bags heavier, but your spirits lighter. As the sun begins to set, casting a golden glow over the village, you join the group, heading back to Hogwarts. The path is quieter now, the snow crunching underfoot, and you and Eliza talk about your purchases, already planning to share the candy canes in the common room. Hogsmeade has been a whirlwind of warmth and magic, its shops and streets alive with the holiday spirit. You glance back at the village, its lights twinkling in the twilight, and feel a deep contentment. The trip has been a perfect break from the castle, a chance to soak in the wider wizarding world's festive charm. Back at Hogwarts, the castle looms against the darkening sky, its towers aglow with candlelight. You and Eliza trudge through the snow, your bays rustling, your minds filled with memories of Hogsmeade's wonders. The holiday feels richer now, layered with the village's magic, and you can't wait to return to the common room, share your treats, and plan the next adventure. The holiday season at Hogwarts has filled the castle with a festive glow. But beneath the garlands and floating candles lies a network of secrets waiting to be explored. After a day of festive lessons and Quidditch games, you feel a restless urge to uncover something hidden, to venture into the castle's less traveled corners. Rumors of secret passages, tunnels, and hidden rooms, known only to a few, have swirled among the students staying for the break. You share the idea with Eliza, your friend from the train, over a mug of hot cocoa in the common room. Her eyes light up, and she suggests teaming up with Marcus, the older student you met during the Quidditch game, who's hinted at knowing a passage or two. The three of you agree to meet after dinner, when the castle is quiet, and set off to uncover Hogwarts' hidden wonders. As night falls, the castle's corridors are bathed in the soft light of enchanted lanterns, their flames flickering in holiday hues. You slip out of the common room, your wand tucked into your pocket, and a small satchel slung over your shoulder, carrying a notebook, a few fizzing whiz-bees, and a vial of the warming elixir from potions class. Eliza and Marcus wait in the entrance hall, near a tapestry of a dancing wizard draped with holly. Marcus, his scarf loose around his neck, smirks and whispers that you're in for a treat. He leads the way, his steps confident, toward a corridor on the second floor, known for its odd statues and shifting portraits. The corridor is dimly lit, the air cooler than the main halls, and the holiday decorations are sparser here. A single wreath glowing faintly above a suit of armor. Marcus stops before a statue of a hunched wizard holding a cracked goblet, its stone eyes glinting as if it knows something you don't. He taps the goblet with his wand, muttering an incantation too soft to catch, and the statue shudders. A low, grinding sound echoes, and a section of the wall beside it slides open, revealing a narrow passage cloaked in shadow. Eliza gasps, and you feel a thrill of excitement mixed with a touch of nerves. Marcus gestures for you to follow, and you step into the passage, the wall sealing shut behind you. The tunnel is cramped, its stone walls damp and etched with faint runes that glow when your wand's light, lumos, sweeps over them. The air smells of earth and old magic, and the warming elixir in your pocket radiates a comforting heat. Marcus leads, his wand casting a steady glow, while Eliza trails close behind you, her breath visible in the cool air. The passage twists downward, its floor uneven, and you steady yourself against the walls, noticing scratches that might be claw marks or ancient carvings. Marcus whispers that this passage leads to a forgotten storage room near the dungeons, rumored to hold relics from Hogwarts founders. The holiday season, he adds, seems to make the castle's secrets more accessible, as if the magic is looser during the festivities. After a few minutes, the tunnel widens into a small chamber, its ceiling low, but adorned with faded frescoes of stars and mythical creatures. A rusty chandelier hangs above, its candles unlit, but sparking faintly when you point your wand at them. In the center, a wooden chest sits, its surface carved with intricate knots that pulse with a soft light. Eliza kneels beside it, tracing the carvings, and suggests it's charmed to open only for those with pure intentions. You focus, thinking of the holiday spirit, friendship, joy, discovery, and tap the chest with your wand, murmuring Alohomora. The lid creaks open, revealing a collection of oddities, a tarnished mirror that reflects a snowy forest, a quill that writes in shimmering ink, and a small orb that hums a carol when touched. You each take a trinket, promising to return them, and Eliza pockets the orb, its melody echoing softly as you move on. Marcus leads you to another passage, this one branching off from the chamber and sloping upward. The walls here are smoother, lined with moss that glows faintly green, and the air carries a hint of pine, as if the castle's holiday decorations have seeped into its hidden veins. The tunnel opens onto a narrow ledge overlooking the great hall from above, hidden behind a tapestry. Through a gap, you see the hall's enchanted ceiling, snowflakes drifting down, and the Christmas trees glowing at each table. The sight is breathtaking, a secret view of the castle's heart, and you feel a pang of awe at Hogwarts' layered magic. Eliza whispers that this must be how the house elves move unseen, and you nod, imagining them darting through passages to deliver festive treats. Your final discovery comes when Marcus points to a loose stone in the wall. He presses it, and a panel slides open, revealing a spiral staircase descending into darkness. The air grows warmer as you descend, and the staircase ends in a small room lit by a single floating lantern, its light pulsing like a heartbeat. The room is cluttered with forgotten objects, old portraits, a cracked cauldron, a broomstick with frayed twigs. But what catches your eye is a tapestry depicting a winter feast, its figures moving in a silent celebration. Eliza touches it, and the figures raise their goblets as if toasting you. The room feels like a time capsule, a pocket of Hogwarts history preserved for those who find it. You sit on the floor, sharing fizzing whiz-bees, the candy's buzz mingling with the thrill of discovery. As you retrace your steps, the passages seem to shift, guiding you back to the second-floor corridor with ease, as if the castle approves of your adventure. The statue seals the entrance behind you, and you emerge into the quiet corridor, the holiday lanterns casting long shadows. Marcus grins, promising more passages to explore later, and Eliza clutches the humming orb, already planning to show it to friends. The castle feels alive, its secrets a gift of the holiday season, and you head back to the common room, your satchel heavier with trinkets and your heart full of wonder. As the holiday season at Hogwarts nears its peak, whispers of a festive event have spread among the students staying for the break. The Great Hall, already a marvel with its enchanted snow and towering Christmas trees, is set to host a smaller-scale holiday dance, a nod to the grand Yule Ball of years past. The anticipation has been building since breakfast, when Professor McGonagall announced the event with a rare smile, instructing everyone to prepare their best robes and be in the hall by 7. You spend the afternoon in the common room, rummaging through your trunk for something suitable. Your dress robes, though simple, are neatly pressed, and you charm them with a spell from the holiday charms lesson to make the fabric shimmer faintly. Eliza, your friend from the train, is buzzing with excitement. Her robes already laid out, and she insists on practicing dance steps with you, giggling as you both stumble through a clumsy waltz on the common room rug. As evening falls, you make your way to the great hall, the castle's corridors glowing with extra lanterns that pulse in time with a distant melody. The air is thick with the scent of pine and spiced cider, and the floating candles overhead cast a warm, golden light. You join a small group of students, perhaps 15 in total, a mix of years and houses, gathering outside the hall's oak doors, which are now framed with garlands of holly and ivy, their leaves sparkling with enchanted frost. Marcus, the older student from the Quidditch game, stands nearby, his robes sharp and his usual smirk softened by the festive mood. Eliza adjusts her scarf, her eyes wide as she takes in the crowd, and you feel a flutter of nerves mixed with excitement. The doors swing open, and a wave of music spills out, inviting you inside. The great hall has been transformed into a winter wonderland. The enchanted ceiling mirrors a clear night sky, with stars twinkling brightly and occasional snowflakes drifting down, dissolving before they reach the floor. The 4 house tables are gone, replaced by a polished dance floor that gleams under the light of thousands of floating candles, their flames shifting from gold to silver to emerald green. Smaller Christmas trees line the walls, each adorned with ornaments that hum softly, adding to the music. A lilting tune played by invisible instruments, blending wizarding carols with a lively beat. At one end, a long table holds goblets of sparkling pumpkin juice, platters of mince pies, and bowls of enchanted candies that pop like tiny fireworks when eaten. The high table, where the professors sit, is draped with a silver cloth, and Professor Dumbledore's eyes twinkle as he surveys the scene, his robes embroidered with crescent moons that glow faintly. Professor Flitwick, ever the enthusiast, stands near the center, waving his wand to direct a stream of glowing orbs that float above the dance floor, forming patterns that shift with the music. You recognize the Lumos Festiva spell from your holiday lesson, and the sight of it in action, hundreds of orbs weaving into snowflakes and stars, makes you smile. Eliza tugs you onto the dance floor, her enthusiasm infectious, and you join the handful of students already swaying to the music. The dance is informal, a mix of waltzes and freer movements, with no strict steps to follow. You spin Eliza, your robes flaring, and laugh as she nearly trips, catching herself with a grin. Marcus joins in, partnering with a quiet third year who blushes but follows his lead. Their steps surprisingly graceful. The music shifts to a slower tune, and you pause to catch your breath, grabbing a goblet of pumpkin juice from the table. The juice is cool and sweet, with a hint of cinnamon that warms you from within. You notice the professors mingling, their usual formality softened. Professor Sprout, her hat adorned with a sprig of mistletoe, sways gently to the music, chatting with Hagrid, who's attempting a clumsy dance with a chair as his partner. McGonagall watches from the sidelines, her lips twitching as if tempted to join, and Dumbledore claps along, his beard swaying with the rhythm. The small crowd creates an intimate atmosphere, like a family gathering, and you feel a sense of belonging that makes the castle feel like home. Eliza drags you back to the dance floor for a livelier tune, and you try a charm to make your footsteps leave fleeting sparkles on the floor, a trick you read about in the library. It works, and soon others are copying you, the dance floor glittering like a starry night. Marcus, ever the show-off, casts a spell that sends a shower of harmless sparks above the crowd, earning cheers and a stern glance from McGonagall. The music swells, and you lose yourself in the movement, the hall's magic amplifying every step. The floating orbs pulse in time, and the Christmas tree's ornaments hum louder, as if joining the celebration. As the night progresses, the dance floor grows livelier, with students pairing up or dancing in groups, their laughter echoing off the stone walls. You and Eliza attempt a group dance with Marcus and a few others, forming a circle and spinning until you're dizzy. The enchanted ceiling shifts, now showing a cascade of auroras that ripple in greens and purples, and you pause to watch, awestruck by the beauty. A younger student bumps into you, apologizing with a shy smile, and you pull them into the circle, the holiday spirit erasing any awkwardness. The evening winds down with a final slow dance, the music softening to a gentle carol. You sway with Eliza, your movements unpracticed but heartfelt, and notice Marcus talking quietly with another student, their faces lit by the glow of the orbs. The hall feels like a cocoon of warmth and magic, the small gathering making it all the more special. As the music fades, Dumbledore rises, raising his goblet in a toast to friendship and festivity. his words simple but resonant. You clink goblets with Eliza, the pumpkin juice sparkling in the candlelight, and feel a quiet joy settle over you. The dance ends, but the hall's magic lingers as you file out, the floating candles dimming behind you. Eliza chats about practicing the sparkle step charm, and you nod, already planning to return to the library for more spells. The Yule Ball vibes have left you warm and exhilarated. A perfect moment in the holiday season that you'll carry with you. The holiday season at Hogwarts has woven a spell of camaraderie among the small group of students staying for the break. And the anticipation of the house-based gift exchange has been a topic of excited whispers since the welcoming feast. The event is scheduled for a cozy evening in the common room, and you've spent days preparing, inspired by your Hogsmeade trip and the magical discoveries in the library. Your gift, a small pendant charmed to glow when held, is wrapped in shimmering paper you bought at Scriven Shafts, its surface dancing with tiny enchanted snowflakes. You tuck it into your pocket, feeling a mix of nerves and excitement, and head to the common room, where the holiday ambiance promises a night of warmth and connection. The common room is a haven of festive cheer, its stone walls softened by tapestries depicting winter scenes that shift subtly, their snow falling endlessly within the fabric. The fireplace crackles with flames that shift from gold to green, casting a warm glow over the overstuffed armchairs and sofas arranged in a loose circle. A Christmas tree stands in one corner, its ornaments, glowing orbs, humming quills, and tiny figures that skate across branches, twinkling in the firelight. Beneath it, a pile of wrapped gifts has grown, each package shimmering with charms that make the paper sparkle or hum softly. The air smells of pine, cocoa, and the faint sweetness of enchanted candies left on a nearby table. Eliza, your friend from the train, is already there, clutching a small box tied with a ribbon that changes color. Marcus, the older student from the Quidditch game, lounges in an armchair, his gift, a suspiciously lumpy package, resting on his lap. The room is filled with the dozen or so students staying for the holidays, their voices a low hum of excitement. A third-year student with a knack for charms has cast a spell to make the ceiling glitter with tiny, floating snowflakes, adding to the festive mood. The gift exchange is a house tradition, organized by the students themselves, with no professors to oversee it, which makes it feel intimate and special. The rules are simple. Each student draws a name from a charmed bowl that ensures fairness, and gifts must be handmade or enchanted, reflecting the giver's creativity. You drew Eliza's name, and you're relieved, knowing the pendant suits her love of sketching under glowing lights. You wonder who drew your name, eyeing the pile of gifts with curiosity. The exchange begins when an older student, acting as the unofficial host, taps a goblet with their wand, producing a clear chime that quiets the room. They explain the process. One by one, each student will present their gift, sharing a few words about its creation. The bowl, glowing faintly, is passed around, and you draw a slip of parchment that confirms Eliza as your recipient. She's sitting across from you, her eyes bright, unaware of your gift. The first student, a quiet fourth year, steps forward, presenting a small book of charmed poems that read themselves aloud in a soft voice. The recipient, a younger student, gasps as the book recites a verse about winter stars, and the room applauds, the sound warm and encouraging. When it's your turn, you stand, feeling the weight of the pendant in your pocket. You pull out the package, its snowflake-patterned paper catching the firelight, and hand it to Eliza. You explain that you found the pendant in Hogsmeade and spent an evening in the library researching a charm to make it glow with a soft, steady light, perfect for late-night sketching. You demonstrate, holding the pendant, and it pulses with a windy golden glow, casting gentle shadows on the rug. Eliza's face lights up, and she slips the pendant around her neck, the light reflecting in her eyes. She hugs you, whispering thanks, and the room claps, Marcus giving you a nod of approval. Eliza goes next, presenting her gift to Marcus. Her box contains a set of enchanted marbles, each one charmed to roll in festive patterns, spirals, stars, even tiny snowflakes when tapped with a wand. She admits she practiced the charm for days, inspired by a book from the library. And Marcus grins, rolling a marble across the table. It traces a glowing spiral, earning ooze from the group. He thanks her, his usual smirk replaced by genuine warmth, and you feel the room's connection deepen, each gift a thread tying you all together. The exchange continues, each gift more creative than the last. A second year offers a scarf charmed to warm without overheating, its threads shimmering with subtle colors. Another student presents a tiny model of a broomstick that hovers when activated, a nod to the Quidditch games. One gift, a small mirror that reflects festive scenes instead of faces, makes everyone laugh when it shows a snowman dancing a jig. Your gift comes last, and Marcus steps forward, revealing he drew your name. His lumpy package unfolds to reveal a hand-carved wooden figure of a phoenix, its wings charmed to glow faintly when touched. He explains he worked on it in the secret passage you explored, using a spell to infuse it with light. You hold the figure, its warmth spreading through your fingers, and thank him, touched by the effort. As the gifts are opened, the room fills with chatter and laughter. Students show off their presents, trying out charms and sharing stories of their creation. Eliza's pendant glows steadily, and she sketches a quick snowflake, the light illuminating her parchment. Marcus rolls his marbles, creating a miniature light show on the table. You clutch your phoenix, its glow a reminder of the holiday's magic. The table of treats, peppermint toffees, gingerbread, and refilling cocoa keeps everyone fueled, and someone casts a charm to make the snowflakes on the ceiling dance to a soft carol. The exchange ends with a toast. Goblets of sparkling juice raised to friendship and the holiday spirit. The common room feels like a family. The small group bonded by shared secrets and festive magic. You linger, swapping ideas for using your new gifts, perhaps enchanting the phoenix to fly, or pairing the pendant with a sketching spell. The fire crackles, the tree's ornaments hum, and the night stretches on, filled with the warmth of connection and the joy of giving. The holiday season at Hogwarts has wrapped the castle in a festive glow. But as night falls, a different kind of magic stirs, one tied to the castle's spectral residents. The idea of hearing ghostly holiday tales has been floating among the students staying for the break, sparked by a comment from a portrait about the ghost's knack for storytelling. You decide to seek them out, eager to hear their eerie yet festive stories of Hogwarts past. After dinner, you gather with Eliza, your friend from the train, and Marcus, the older student from the Quidditch game, in the common room. The fire crackles, casting flickering shadows, and the Christmas tree's ornaments hum softly, setting a perfect mood for ghost stories. Eliza suggests checking the 5th floor corridor, known for its ghostly activity, and Marcus agrees, claiming he once saw nearly headless Nick there sharing a tale about a haunted feast. You grab your wand, a notebook for jotting down details, and a vial of warming elixir to to fend off the evening chill. Then head out into the castle's quiet halls. The corridors are dimly lit, the floating candles dimmed to a soft glow, their flames dancing in holiday hues of gold and green. The castle feels different at night, its stone walls humming with secrets, the holiday decorations, garlands of ivy and wreaths sparkling with frost, adding a layer of enchantment. You climb to the 5th floor, your footsteps muffled by a rug woven with snowflake patterns. The corridor is lined with portraits, their occupants dozing or sipping goblets of painted mulled wine, and a suit of armor creaks as you pass, its helmet adorned with a sprig of holly. Eliza points to a corner where the air feels colder, a faint mist curling along the floor, and you sense the presence of a ghost before you see one. Nearly headless, Nick floats into view, his ruff slightly askew, his head wobbling as he greets you with a cheerful wave. He's delighted to have an audience, especially during the holidays, and agrees to share a story. He leads you to a nearby alcove, its stone bench warmed by a charm you suspect is his doing. The alcove is small, lit by a single lantern that pulses softly, and a tapestry on the wall depicts a winter feast, its figures moving in silent celebration. You settle on the bench, Eliza beside you, Marcus leaning against the wall, his wand casting a faint lumos to brighten the space. Nick begins, his voice rich and theatrical, telling of a Christmas banquet from centuries ago, when Hogwarts hosted a spectral feast for ghosts from across Britain. The story is vivid. The great hall, filled with translucent figures, their laughter echoing as enchanted food, visible only to ghosts, floated above the tables. Nick describes a mischievous poltergeist, not unlike Peeves, who charmed the pudding to sing off-key carols, causing chaos until a stern headmaster banished it to the dungeons. You laugh, imagining Peeves pulling a similar stunt, and Eliza scribbles notes, her quill glowing faintly from a charm she learned in Hogsmeade. Nick's tale takes a spooky turn as he recounts a ghostly knight who appeared at the feast, searching for a lost love, his armor clanking as he roamed the castle, leaving frost in his wake. The students of that era, Nick says, swore they saw his shadow on Christmas Eve. And you glance at the corridor, half expecting a spectral figure to appear. The fat friar floats in next, his round face beaming, drawn by Nick's voice. He offers a different tale, one of a holiday miracle from Hogwarts' early days. He tells of a winter when the castle's stores ran low, and a kind-hearted witch, a founder's apprentice, enchanted the snow to yield magical fruits that fed the students. The fruit, glowing like tiny suns, warmed the hall and lifted spirits, and the friar claims the spell's echoes linger in the castle's snow, which you recall from your grounds exploration. His story is less eerie, more heartwarming, and you feel a connection to Hogwarts' past, its magic enduring through the centuries. Marcus asks if the spell could be recreated, and the friar chuckles, suggesting the library might hold the answer. The Gray Lady appears silently, her expression somber but softened by the holiday mood. She rarely speaks, but tonight she shares a quiet tale of a Yule ball long ago, where a student's charm went awry, filling the hall with dancing shadows that told stories of their own. Her voice is soft, almost a whisper, and you lean closer, captivated by the image of shadows waltzing under a starry ceiling. Eliza nudges you, pointing to her notebook, where she sketched a shadowy figure mid-dance, the lines glowing faintly. The Gray Lady's story ends with a warning to respect magic's power. And you nod, thinking of your own attempts at holiday charms. Peeves, predictably, interrupts with a cackle, zooming through the alcove and tossing enchanted snowballs that burst into sparkles. He doesn't stay long, but leaves behind a tale, shouted over his shoulder, about a Christmas prank where he charmed the great hall's trees to swap ornaments, confusing everyone. The story is chaotic, like Peeves himself, but it makes you laugh. And Marcus suggests trying a similar prank, though Eliza shakes her head, wary of McGonagall's wrath. The ghosts' stories weave a tapestry of Hogwarts' holiday history, each tale blending humor, spookiness, and wonder. You jot down details: the singing pudding, the glowing fruit, the dancing shadows, feeling closer to the castle's past. The alcove grows colder as the ghosts linger, their forms shimmering in the lantern's light, and you sip your warming elixir, its heat spreading through you. Eliza shares a candy cane from Hogsmeade, its flavor shifting from peppermint to chocolate, and Marcus tosses a fizzing Whizbee into the air, catching it with a grin. The ghosts seem to enjoy the company, their stories flowing freely, and you sense they're as eager for connection as you are. As midnight nears, Nick suggests one last tale, but the castle's curfew looms, and you promise to return for more. The ghosts drift away, their forms fading into the mist, leaving the alcove quiet but charged with their presence. You, Eliza, and Marcus head back to the common room, the corridor's lanterns guiding your way. The stories linger in your mind, each one a glimpse into Hogwarts' soul. And you can't wait to share them with the others, perhaps over cocoa by the fire. The winter sun hangs low, casting a soft glow over the snow-covered Hogwarts grounds as you prepare for a special Care of Magical Creatures session with Hagrid. The holiday season has brought a quieter rhythm to the castle, and today's activity, listed on the festive timetable as a chance to help Hagrid with his creatures, feels like a perfect way to dive deeper into the magic of the season. You bundle up in your cloak and scarf, the warming elixir from potions class tucked into your pocket for extra warmth, and head out to meet your friends. Eliza, your companion from the train, is already waiting in the entrance hall, her mittens dusted with snow from an earlier romp on the grounds. Marcus, the older student from the Quidditch game, joins you, his usual smirk softened by curiosity about what Hagrid has in store. The three of you trudge through the snow, following the cleared path to Hagrid's hut, the air crisp with the scent of pine and frost. Hagrid's hut looms ahead, its chimney puffing cheerful smoke. The surrounding snow dotted with glowing pumpkin lanterns that flicker like tiny fires. The hut's garden, usually a riot of oversized vegetables, is now a winter wonderland, with snow charmed to form delicate patterns around the pumpkins. Hagrid stands outside, his massive frame bundled in a moleskin coat, his beard flecked with snow. He waves you over, his voice booming with enthusiasm as he greets the small group of students. Only a handful have signed up for the holiday session. He explains that winter changes how magical creatures behave, and today you'll help care for a few, learning their habits in the cold. His eyes twinkle as he mentions a surprise, and you exchange excited glances with Eliza, wondering what creatures await. Hagrid leads you to a fenced paddock near the Forbidden Forest, its edges lined with evergreens that shimmer with enchanted frost. The snow here is charmed to stay soft, never packing hard underfoot, and a small fire burns in a stone circle, its flames dancing in festive hues of blue and gold. Hagrid points to a cluster of bowtruckles clinging to a tree, their twig-like bodies blending with the branches. He explains that winter makes them sluggish, so you'll need to coax them with warmed wood lice, their favorite treat. He hands you a small pouch of the wriggling insects, their shells faintly warm from a charm. You approach the tree, careful not to startle the bowtruckles. and hold out a woodlouse, a tiny creature, no bigger than your finger, scuttles forward, its eyes glinting as it snatches the treat and retreats. Eliza giggles as she tries, her bow truckle nibbling cautiously, and Marcus, less patient, earns a tiny scratch when he moves too fast. Hagrid chuckles, showing you how to move slowly, mimicking the tree's sway. And soon you're all feeding the bowtruckles, their chatter like rustling leaves filling the air. Next, Hagrid leads you to a small enclosure where a group of nifflers huddle in a burrow lined with straw. Their black fur glistens, and their snouts twitch, drawn to the shiny trinkets Hagrid has scattered for them. He explains that nifflers get restless in winter, digging deeper for warmth, so you'll help by enchanting their burrow to stay cozy. He demonstrates a warming charm, simpler than the elixir, but effective. And you practice the wand motion, a gentle wave followed by a tap, muttering Calor Perpetua. Your spell works, the straw glowing faintly, and the nifflers squeak, burrowing happily. Eliza's charm is a bit too strong, sending a puff of steam from the burrow, and Hagrid quickly adjusts it, grinning. Marcus, competitive as ever, perfects the charm on his first try, earning a nod from Hagrid. You watch the nifflers, their snouts poking out to sniff for more trinkets, and scatter a few charmed coins that glow softly, keeping them entertained. The surprise Hagrid promised comes next. A pair of young hippogriffs, their feathers fluffed against the cold, tethered loosely near the paddock. He introduces them as Stormwing and Frostfeather, explaining that winter makes them more cautious, so you'll need to earn their trust before offering food. He shows you how to bow, keeping eye contact, and you step forward, heart pounding, Stormwing's eyes, sharp and golden, meet yours. And after a tense moment, he dips his head. You offer a piece of charmed meat, warmed by your elixir, and he snaps it up, his beak brushing your hand. Eliza bows to Frostfeather, her movements careful, and earns a soft chirp of approval. Marcus, bolder, bows with a flourish, and Frostfeather preens, clearly impressed. Hagrid beams, explaining how hippogriffs bond through respect, and you feel a rush of pride as Stormwing nudges your shoulder, his feathers warm despite the snow. Hagrid then tasks you with checking the Thestrals' feeding area, a secluded clearing deeper in the paddock. Thestrals, invisible to you unless you've seen death, are tricky to work with. But Hagrid's instructions are clear. Scatter enchanted apples that glow faintly to attract them. You toss the apples, their light cutting through the snowy haze, and hear soft hoofbeats and rustling wings. Marcus, who can see them, describes their skeletal forms, his voice unusually quiet, and you sense their presence, the air growing heavier. Eliza scatters more apples, her movements tentative, and Hagrid assures you the Thestrals are grateful, even if unseen. The task feels solemn, a reminder of the creature's mysterious nature, and you're glad for Hagrid's guidance. As the session ends, Hagrid invites you into his hut for tea, the interior cozy with a roaring fire and a Christmas tree adorned with bones and feathers. You sip minty tea, listening as Hagrid shares stories of past winters, like the time a baby dragon sneezed fire and melted a snowman. Eliza sketches a bowtruckle in her notebook, its lines glowing from her charmed quill, while Marcus asks about hippogriff training, clearly smitten. The creature's winter habits, bowtruckle's sluggishness, Niffler's burrowing, hippogriff's caution, feel like secrets shared, deepening your connection to Hogwarts magic. As you head back to the castle, the snow crunches underfoot, and the lantern's glow lights your path. You clutch a small feather, Stormwing dropped, a keepsake of the day, and plan to tell the others about it in the common room. The holiday season has made the creature's care feel like a gift, a chance to bond with the wild magic of the wizarding world. The holiday season at Hogwarts has filled the castle with warmth and wonder. But tonight, you're drawn to the astronomy tower, eager to experience the stargazing promised in the festive schedule. The idea of observing magical constellations under a charmed sky feels like the perfect way to cap a day of holiday magic. After dinner, you gather your cloak, scarf, and the warming elixir from potions class, its vial still radiating a gentle heat in your pocket. Eliza, your friend from the train, is as excited as you are, clutching a notebook for sketching constellations, her quill charmed to glow faintly. Marcus, the older student from the Quidditch game, joins you, his usual confidence tempered by curiosity about the tower's holiday enchantments. The three of you slip out of the common room, the castle's corridors quiet under the glow of floating candles that flicker in festive hues. The journey to the astronomy tower takes you through winding staircases, each step lined with garlands of silver thread that shimmer like starlight. The air grows cooler as you climb, the castle's warmth giving way to the crisp bite of winter. The tower's entrance is a heavy wooden door, its frame etched with celestial runes that pulse faintly when you touch them. You push it open, and a rush of cold air greets you, carrying the scent of snow and something ancient, like the sky itself. The spiral staircase beyond is narrow, its stone steps worn smooth by centuries of students. Lanterns shaped like tiny stars line the walls, their light pulsing in time with a distant melody, guiding you upward. Eliza hums softly, her voice echoing in the confined space. And Marcus points out a rune that resembles a comet, sparking a debate about its meaning. At the top, the tower opens into a wide, circular platform, its stone floor polished to a mirror-like sheen that reflects the night sky above. The view is breathtaking. The Hogwarts grounds stretch out below, blanketed in snow that glimmers under the moonlight, with the black lake a frozen expanse and the forbidden forest a dark, mysterious fringe. The sky is clear, a deep velvet black studded with stars that seem closer than usual, their light sharp and vibrant. The tower is adorned for the holidays with a single garland of silver thread wrapping the railing, its strands glowing faintly. A small Christmas tree stands in one corner, its ornaments shaped like miniature planets and comets that orbit slowly, casting soft shadows across the platform. Telescopes, their brass gleaming, are positioned around the edge, charmed to focus on magical constellations invisible to Muggle eyes. You approach a telescope, its lens cool under your fingers, and peer through it. The stars leap into focus, forming patterns that shift and shimmer. You spot the constellation of Draconis Ignis, a dragon-shaped cluster that pulses with fiery light, its tail curling as if alive. Eliza, at the next telescope, gasps as she finds Calum Cantus, a group of stars that hums faintly, its melody carried by the wind. Marcus, fiddling with his telescope, claims to see a constellation shaped like a Quidditch broom, but you suspect he's joking until he points it out. A faint outline of stars that does resemble a nimbus. You laugh, the sound echoing across the tower, and settle onto a stone bench, the warming elixir keeping the chill at bay. Professor Sinistra, who oversees astronomy, isn't present, but she's left a charmed parchment on a central table, its text glowing with instructions for the night's stargazing. It lists constellations to find and spells to enhance their visibility. You try one, Lumos Stellae, waving your wand in a slow arc and murmuring the incantation. The stars brighten, their light pulsing in time with your heartbeat, and you feel a connection to the sky, as if the magic of Hogwarts has woven you into its fabric. Eliza tries the spell, her stars glowing a soft blue, and Marcus, ever competitive, casts his with a flourish, making a cluster flare gold. The parchment also mentions a holiday-specific constellation, Solis Hems, said to appear only during the winter solstice, and you scan the sky, hoping to catch it. The tower's magic amplifies the experience. The railing's silver garland hums softly, and when you touch it, a faint vibration runs through your fingers, like a song from the stars. The Christmas tree's ornaments shift, their comets leaving trails of light that mimic shooting stars. Eliza sketches the constellations in her notebook, her quills glow, illuminating the pages, while Marcus experiments with a spell to project a star map onto the floor. It works, creating a shimmering diagram that rotates slowly, and you trace the lines with your finger, marveling at the precision. The night feels alive, the sky a canvas of stories told in light and shadow. You share fizzing whiz-bees from Hogsmeade, their sherbet buzz mingling with the cold air, and talk about the ghostly tales you heard earlier. Eliza wonders if the stars hold memories, like the enchanted snow from the library books, and Marcus suggests a spell to capture a star's light in a vial, though he admits it's beyond his skill. The conversation drifts to the holiday, the castle's warmth, and the sense of family among the small group of students. The tower, high above the world, feels like a sanctuary, its magic tying you to the cosmos. As midnight approaches, you spot Solis Hiems, its stars forming a radiant spiral that pulses with a soft, golden light. You point it out, and Eliza adjusts her telescope, gasping as the constellation comes into focus. Marcus casts Lumos Stellae again, and the spiral glows brighter, its light bathing the tower in warmth. The moment feels like a gift, a secret shared by the sky and the castle. You linger, reluctant to leave. The stars and the holiday magic weaving a spell that lingers in your heart. As you descend the staircase, the lanterns guide your way, their starlight fading behind you. The castle waits below, its festive glow calling you back, but the memory of the tower's sky stays with you, a promise of more wonders to come. The final day of the year dawns crisp and clear. The Hogwarts grounds blanketed in fresh snow that sparkles under a pale winter sun. The castle hums with anticipation for the New Year's Eve celebration, the culmination of the holiday season's magic. You've heard whispers of a grand event in the great hall, complete with charmed fireworks and a midnight toast, and the excitement has been building since breakfast. You spend the day in the common room, sharing stories with Eliza, your friend from the train, and Marcus, the older student from the Quidditch game, while planning your resolutions. Your dress robes, charmed to shimmer from the Yule Ball, are ready, and you tuck the warming elixir from potions class into your pocket, knowing the night might take you outside. As evening approaches, you head to the Great Hall, the castle's corridors glowing with extra lanterns that pulse with festive light, their flames dancing in hues of gold, silver, and emerald. The entrance hall is a spectacle, its massive Christmas tree glittering with ornaments that hum carols, and garlands of holly and ivy weaving up the grand staircase, their leaves sparkling with enchanted frost. The oak doors to the great hall stand open, spilling out music, a lively blend of wizarding tunes and holiday melodies played by invisible instruments. You step inside, and the hall takes your breath away. The enchanted ceiling mirrors a starry night, with constellations swirling in patterns that echo the astronomy tower's sky. Floating candles, thousands strong, cast a warm glow, their flames shifting colors in time with the music. The house tables are gone, replaced by a polished dance floor surrounded by smaller, round tables, each adorned with silver cloths and centerpieces of glowing orbs that pulse like miniature stars. A massive Christmas tree, larger than any you've seen, dominates one end, its branches heavy with ornaments that shift, tiny broomsticks, singing baubles, and miniature owls that flutter among the needles. The small group of students, perhaps 20, a mix of years, mingles with the professors, who are dressed in festive robes. Dumbledore's starry cloak twinkles, and Professor McGonagall's emerald gown is accented with a brooch that glows faintly. Professor Flitwick, ever enthusiastic, directs a stream of charmed snowflakes that dance above the floor, while Professor Sprout adjusts a sprig of mistletoe in her hat, smiling at Hagrid, who's squeezed into a suit that strains at the seams. You find a table with Eliza and Marcus, grabbing goblets of sparkling pumpkin juice that refills itself, its flavor laced with a hint of cinnamon, a tray of treats, mince pies, gingerbread shaped like stars, and enchanted candies that pop like tiny fireworks, sits nearby, and you nibble a candy, laughing as it sparks harmlessly on your tongue. The evening begins with a feast, smaller than the welcoming one, but no less magical. Platters of roasted pheasant, glazed ham, and creamy mashed potatoes appear, alongside bowls of shimmering cranberry sauce and vegetables that glow faintly. Charmed to stay warm, you pile your plate, sharing a mince pie with Eliza. It's filling, sweet, and spiced. Marcus, across the table, charms his fork to carve his ham in perfect slices, showing off with a grin. The professors join the students at the tables, their usual formality softened by the holiday spirit. Dumbledore chats with a younger student, his eyes twinkling, while Hagrid regales a group with a story about a New Year's dragon mishap, his laughter booming over the music. As the feast winds down, the music swells, and the dance floor beckons. Flitwick waves his wand, sending a cascade of glowing orbs, lumos festiva, you recognize from Charms class, into the air, forming patterns of snowflakes and comets. You join Eliza on the floor, your robes shimmering as you spin to a lively tune. Marcus partners with a quiet third year, his movements surprisingly graceful, and soon the small crowd is dancing, the hall filled with laughter and the rustle of robes. The enchanted ceiling shifts, showing a cascade of auroras that ripple in greens and purples. And you pause to watch, awestruck by the beauty. Eliza tries the sparkle step charm from the Yule Ball, her footsteps leaving fleeting glimmers on the floor, and you copy her, the effect drawing cheers from nearby students. As midnight nears, Dumbledore rises, his voice cutting through the music. He speaks of new beginnings, the magic of hope, and the bonds forged at Hogwarts. His words simple but resonant. He invites everyone to share a resolution, and the students take turns, their voices carrying over the hall. Eliza resolves to master a new charm, Marcus to fly faster, and you share a wish to explore more of the castle's secrets. Thinking of the hidden passages, the professors nod, some sharing their own. Flitwick's to perfect a new spell, McGonagall's to be less stern, which earns a laugh. The clock strikes midnight, signaled by a chime from a massive hourglass that appears at the hall's center, its sand glowing gold. Dumbledore raises his wand, and the ceiling erupts in charmed fireworks, bursts of light that form dragons, phoenixes, and spiraling stars, their colors vivid against the starry sky. The students cheer, and you join them, your wand raised to add a small spark to the display, a trick you practiced in Charms. The fireworks are silent, but dazzling. Their light reflecting on the dance floor. Goblets of sparkling juice are passed around, and you toast with Eliza and Marcus, the liquid warm and sweet, sealing the moment. The celebration spills outside, the group moving to the courtyard where the snow is charmed to glow softly. Hagrid leads a chant, and you toss enchanted snowballs that burst into sparkles. The air filled with laughter. The castle looms above, its towers aglow, and you feel a surge of gratitude for this moment, this place, this magic, the New Year's celebration with its fireworks, resolutions, and shared joy. Feels like a promise of more adventures to come. As the night winds down, you return to the common room, the castle's warmth wrapping around you. Eliza clutches her glowing pendant, and Marcus carries his phoenix figure, both gifts from the exchange. You settle by the fire, sharing plans for the year, the holiday's magic lingering like starlight.